Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the Sports Fellowship of Fans. We're glad to talk to you once again and to see what you guys are thinking about today's topic. We saw game 2 of the NBA Finals, and let's stay with the NBA today since, again, that is the biggest topic going right now. We saw game 2. Once again, Phoenix played a very balanced game. We had contributions from multiple players, and we saw the Phoenix Suns come away with the game 2 victory. So they held serve at home and go into Milwaukee up 2-0. And even though for a lot of us, our teams are not in it, we can't help but look at the teams that are in it and think about our own team, saying, how can the team that I root for do what they've done? And I believe this gives us an opportunity to talk about one of the most overlooked aspects of building a great team, and that is player development. For example, we know who our coach is. We know who our general manager is, or maybe who our team president is, the persons who are making all of the decisions. But there's a very important role to be played by those individuals who sit on the bench alongside the players, whose job it is to take the players who are drafted and get them better. Last year, the Phoenix Suns didn't have a great regular season, did well enough to get into the bubble, went undefeated in the bubble, but were so far behind they still couldn't make the playoffs. They go from out of the playoffs to 2 games away from winning the NBA championship. So how did they make that leap? The Chris Paul signing was very big for them. He's brought a lot: leadership, stability at the point guard, experience, and still a very effective player. Jay Crowder has been very good as that veteran, that toughness, the rebounder, open threes, good defender. So the acquisitions they've made have been very good. Cameron Payne has grown as a player. But the core of that team still remains with their young players: DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Cameron Johnson, Mikal Bridges. These were all players who have been a part of the team for a couple of years. They were either drafted or acquired right after the draft by Phoenix. And we've seen these players take the leap from young players to contributors on a championship team. And so we have to give some love to those persons who are responsible on their team for player development. One of the names that you're starting to hear a lot about on Phoenix is Mark Bryant. Mark Bryant was a very good player in his day, had a lot of playoff battles, himself played against a lot of great big men. And so you can see the work he's done with DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton came out of college, very athletic, top pick, had a lot of raw talent. But now you're seeing a player who is good defensively, knows how to use his athleticism to protect the rim, very good rebounder. He runs the floor well for a big. But you can also see the evolution of his offensive game. DeAndre Ayton is great in pick and roll. He runs to the rim well, goes up for the alley-oops. But he also has developed enough of a soft touch and enough of a post game that he's effective in the paint. DeAndre Ayton isn't out at the three-point line experimenting with long shots. He knows what he can do, and he's being very effective at what you would call the modern big man. That's player development. Devin Booker came out of Kentucky, a good player, but there's a reason he went 13th. He wasn't a superstar college player. He was very good. You could see his potential, but somebody had to coach him up, had to turn him into what we see now is a superstar in the NBA. That's player development. When draft night comes, we are overloaded with draft intel. We follow social media. We watch the ESPN shows, and we get all of this great information on players we've watched 2 or 3 times. So we all know who should get drafted where. We hear the name of the player that our team takes, and we get super excited. Yeah, we've gotten this person. Yeah, we have this player. We know their height, their wingspan, the stats they put up in college, and we believe we have the next something. But then they've got to develop. We have this mistaken notion that college players and young players come into the NBA as finished products, and that's just not true. We look for players to come in, but then they've got to take a step. They've got to improve. They've got to grow. Their game has to evolve. And the players that make those jumps are the ones that get drafted anywhere on the draft list. And you see them turn into great players. Giannis was the number 15 pick. But Giannis has improved, has gotten better. Not just his numbers, his game has gotten better. And that's why last night Giannis went for 42 points on a sore knee. Tremendous player, but he had to grow into that player. And he had to have people around him who could take his athleticism, take what he already knows how to do, and help him to turn into an NBA superstar, an MVP, and a Defensive Player of the Year, and the star of a team that has a chance to win the NBA Finals, to win the championship. So there is a very big amount of appreciation and recognition that needs to go to those who are in player development, who are doing a good job. And we need to look at the franchises whose draft picks don't improve. For some of our teams, we get players whose names we've heard, and they don't improve under our team's leadership, whether it's the coaches, the assistant coaches. Somebody's not getting it done because our players aren't getting any better. And so we keep having to get new players, get new players, get new players. But if you take a close look at the teams that are doing well right now, you're finding teams that are drafting well, but teams that are developing the young players that they've drafted. Phoenix didn't give up on their young players when they didn't make the playoffs last year. They didn't say, all right, let's just package 3 of these young guys together to go and get one named player. They stuck with this. They stuck with their course, developed their own talent, added 1 or 2 pieces after their talent got good enough, and now we're looking at a championship team that honestly is going to be contending in the West for the next few years. So we want to see other teams follow that same process. Now, you can be a Brooklyn and go out and put together a superstar team. There just aren't that many superstars that are available that you can go and acquire. So the route that most of our teams are going to end up taking is going to be the route of drafting well, buying low on players, and then coaching them up and developing them and helping them turn into those star players that are going to anchor our team going forward. So we don't have to go out and tear our team apart to add a star. We can grow our stars. We can develop our stars. So for all of the coaches like Mark Bryant, for all of the coaches who are taking their players and getting them better, helping them turn into great players by not giving up on them, and the franchises that are offering the stability to a young player so you can come here and we'll play you and you're going to make mistakes and we're going to put you back into the game and we're going to work with you and work with you and work with you until that potential turns into production. This is a word of appreciation for those people that most of us on our teams, we couldn't name who's in charge of player development for our franchises. And yet their role in our teams is as crucial as possibly as our head coaches. So let's continue to appreciate the way the finals are going. But let's also take a look at how well our teams are not just drafting people, but developing those young people that we're drafting. Are we being patient with them? Are we giving them opportunities to grow and learn and turning them into players that are going to improve and be stars for us? As a Knicks fan, we were very excited when we saw Obi Toppin get drafted. He was the College Player of the Year. A lot of experts called him the most pro-ready prospect that was coming out in last year's draft. In the beginning of the season, we didn't see Obi a lot. But then as the season progressed, you saw him becoming more confident. You saw his shot improving. You saw him understanding where to be on the court more and more. And now he's on the USA Select team. So it's there. Do the Knicks have the player development personnel to turn Obi Toppin from a prospect and a draft pick into a contributing star on a good team in the NBA? We're going to find out. So I want to know what you think. What do you think about player development? How important do you think it is? Or do you think it's on the player? Should every player be like a Julius Randle? Recommit to your body, recommit to your game, and just work hard and improve. What role do you think your team and the team staff has in helping a player improve and get better? So in the Sports Fellowship of Fans, this is kind of stuff we like to talk about, and we always like your opinion and your input. So please jump on. Let us know what you think. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and give us your thoughts. We so appreciate your support. We're growing, and we cannot wait for the Sports Fellowship of Fans to take over and become the place where everyone comes to have their sports conversation. This is the place for people who really, really love their sports and love to talk about it. Like I say all the time, if sports is your religion, this is going to be your church. And we can't wait to have you. So thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. We can't wait to get back in here and talk some more sports with you. Let's go.